Unstubbed. No, you didn't really rage. But okay, so here's how I feel about it. It's weird. The production value is top-notch for a comedy special. I mean, most people, they stand out there, it's the same light, they talk for an hour, and then it's the end of it. This guy says, and I don't know how much I agree with him, and I also don't know how seriously I take him, but he says he spent 3 years working on that 1 hour special. That's a lot of years, okay? He could have computer animated that 3-year special in 2 months. But I did like the fact that he kind of talks about how he both has like a distaste for the audience because he like resents himself for needing them, and then, you know, tells them that he needs them or whatever. And then, you know, that's how the whole special plays out. He begins. This is Make Happy that I'm talking about. He begins with you know, a lot of jokes that are kind of contemptuous towards the audience. Yeah, it's a new special that's on Netflix. You know, like he talks about how he's going to do improv, and then the improv is a song where he just puts the first guy's name into how he banged that dude's mom, etc., etc. And that's all well and good. And then, you know, at the end, it's more about like, hey, I'm not trying to be disingenuous, but the only thing I really know to talk about is performing, and la 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 la. And you know, at the end, it's sort of like a very, you know, the beginning bit is about how how it's like ironic to be a, you know, a white straight male and just have like an unbelievable amount of privilege, and how it's ironic. The whole song is about how it's like not okay to talk about your problems or whatever if you're that, because you have no real problems. And then the last bit is the exact opposite, where he's talking about like, you know, I don't have problems like Kanye West does, but his problems were things like my $90 t-shirts are selling very well, and etc. So it's very weird. It's obviously very well thought out. I'm actually not that big of a fan of musical comedy in general, and in this case, I did have a very, you know, I had a very strong sense that he had some. I don't want to say mediocre, because they're obviously they're professional jokes, but the whole thing was built around these professional jokes that he had worked out, but they, I don't know, they just fell flat. Maybe that's maybe that's an unfair assessment. I enjoyed it. I especially enjoyed it towards the end. But it's nothing that I would accost strangers over and be like, "Have you watched this shit? You haven't watched this shit? You're ridiculous." But, you know.
Yeah, for me it was like, I think it lacked maturity, like a lot of it did. Like, the guy is obviously very talented, but I think he like lacks real life experience to draw on in order to make like a good comedy special.
That's
what I thought. But he was, I mean, I laughed, you know, I thought he was fine, and then Kyle thought he was funny, you know, but it's, yeah, he's an interesting guy. That's for sure.
Oh, Wild Smile, thank you for that. And also Carl Smith, thank you for that follow. It did not accost me. I wasn't talking about you. I'm just saying it's yeah, I don't know how to describe it. I don't know if I have like extremely refined tastes, or if my tastes are just like, give me rock candy and that's all I need to live on for the rest of my life. But like, some of my favorite shit is the jokes where they take it like, you know, 2 steps farther than they should. like the Doug Stanhope bit where he's talking about how he thinks that it's okay to think that the professional football players who are like ultra fit, meaty, muscular men, it's okay to think about them as attractive. And then of course he goes, dox / swat you. That's the don't even joke about that. That is a terrible thing. Did I see his first special? No, I didn't. I will say this though, the guy has got his life figured out. He acts like he doesn't, but anybody that can plan for 3 years through a 1 hour special and then live off of the like residuals from it for the next 3 years is fucking genius. Because that is a beautiful way to live your life. I am deeply envious of anybody whose life is that.
Cynical Neurotic says that he didn't say Doc saw himself. Fucking slaughter him in the wearing a scarf.
Yeah.
Hey, wearing people's entrails as scarf is not a capital offense, right? If you found that way. That's what I think.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen what. I've probably heard a bunch of the jokes on Pandora from what. What was a free special? Well, I'm sure it was, but I bet he still got paid for it. I'm sure that he set it up in such a way that it was free, but he still got some money for it. I mean, the stream is free, but that doesn't mean that I don't get money from it. I'm not saying that, you know, please Jesus give me money and I depend on you to survive or anything like that. But please Jesus give me money. I depend on you to survive. No, I don't know what to say. Yeah, here's what it comes down to. I thought it was funny. I don't know if I thought it was all that funny, but I certainly couldn't do better. I couldn't do better in 5 years. I just think it's yeah, I don't know how to put it. As far as it goes, the musical comedy shit is just really not my cup of tea. Yeah. Neurotic is being unpleasant. Nah, he's very pleasant. I'm just giving my 2 cents, man. That's just how I feel about it. Everything speaks to somebody a different way. And that's absolutely fantastic. If it wasn't like that, everybody would just pay the same 10 people to come up with the same pappy shit over and over again. Which, by the way, okay, his best jokes. What was the one that I said was the best joke?
Oh, where he said that he was born privileged, he got lucky, and he's unhappy.
Yeah, that was his best joke, where he says, "You think that me getting up here and sitting on stage and looking down at you and telling you that you should follow your dreams is like okay?" He was like, "Not only was I born privileged and I got lucky, but I'm also still unhappy." And I thought that was genius. And then the other joke that I really liked, God damn it, I just had it in my head. It'll come up in my brain. Got a comedian here. I don't know. I'm definitely not a comedian. Some of the shit that comes out of my mouth, I don't even know where it comes from, but I certainly don't see myself as a comedian. Confirmed. Combo breaker. Kyle has an opinion. Well, you know, if you didn't want to know what I think, I could just turn the camera off and it would just show the gameplay, but I don't know if that would be very interesting. So we're going to back to game. We're going to come in here and hand in the reunions quest. But instead of following Dogmeat, which I really don't like to do at all. Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say, Cynical Neurotic. That was the joke that I was thinking about. The country song parody.
Yeah,
that
was funny.
He talks about how
the rusted trucks.
Billionaire metrosexuals who just crank out the same pandering bullshit to people who have real jobs. That was a great song. That was his best, like, prepared, you know, bit. gameplay only, please. I've actually considered that. I've considered doing a stream wherein I play a roleplay as Nate, and I don't skip any dialogue, I don't talk over anybody, and at the same time, I just, there's no camera, there's no vocals, it's just like as story mode as possible.
Someone says, "Oh my God, did you watch the special?"
I didn't make it in time.
Yeah.
Was someone the one that wanted you to watch it, or was it Cynical Neurotic?
I cannot remember. It probably was Isha-sama. And I will just go ahead and say that I'm not going to go through and talk about it all over again. You will have to watch the VOD if you would like to see my 15-minute opinion on that special.
No sense does. Security protocols strip those memories out.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I need to find a way.
I've been investigating these creeps for over a year now.
Country Song Bit is like 6 fucking
Commonwealth
years old though.
boogeyman.
Well, you know.
Feared and hated by everyone.
True enough.
Sometimes
It was a good bit. I'm just saying, you know, if it's not in his old special, then great, put it in his new special.
That they're out there, but to this day, there's one thing nobody really knows.
Where the Institute actually...
Exactly.
Oh my God.
A man like that would have had access.
Yeah,
Stories.
Oh,
He wasn't gonna talk. Even if I...
Please,
Look,
spare
there's a...
me your life.
If anyone could get a
They
dead
all look
brain
weird
to
with the red
sing,
ripple on.
it'll be
Yeah,
Dr.
why am I
Amari.
getting red?
Because I have the mod in my power armor visor so that I can see enemies, because I don't have...
Piece of Kellogg's brain. Enough gray matter to bring to
I don't
Amari
have the
and find out
capacity
if it's gonna work.
to see shit on my compass. So.
Actually, I think I already have
So it
something.
was Shasama.
Kellogg had this thing attached to his head.
So
It was
Genetics,
him
huh?
all along.
I have to go to the...
Oh shit.
yeah, TLDR.
I'll head there.
I
All right.
liked it
See you
okay.
then.
I liked the
Don't
meta
worry.
shit. I liked the
We're gonna
mini
get your boy
form
back.
emulated the
few more
the
steps.
major
oh, well,
form.
you two are out. I'm
I
gonna do some more
liked
research.
the country song. I liked the joke about being privileged, getting lucky, and still being unhappy.
Motherfucking innocent. Yeah, cynical neurotic.
I'm sorry, cynical neurotic. I could not seriously remember, but that was the TLDR of that fucking conversation. But generally speaking, I'm just not really that into musical comedy. So don't be too depressed when you watch the VOD and
Hey,
you're
you
just
see
like
that big blimp?
that.
The
I
Brotherhood
thought
Steel.
Oddworld was funny. It's just for me, he's too young to, actually have anything relevant to say.
Well, yeah, there's
I mean,
always
I'm just saying,
there's
but
always that.
He's very talented, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been talking about it pretty much the whole time.
Maybe we're just too old, babe. Have you thought about that?
Well, I mean, you know, that's part of the thing that appeals to me about comedians, is that they're falling apart in real life. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, Doug Stanhope and Robin Williams and Rodney Dangerfield and you know, there's a history of stand-up comedians that I like, who what they do is the only way they get by. If they weren't doing that, they wouldn't be able to cope with life at all. You just became the Andy Dufresne of this chat. Well, you better put up a command for that. Cynical neurotic, the Andy Dufresne of the chat. Oh, Andy. Yeah, I thought it was Cynical Neurotic that wanted me super badly to watch it, because he was talking about Bo Burnham the moment he got into the chat. I was just like, yeah, what's up? Yeah, Louis C.K. is another great example. Because, you know, he talks about it now. He talks about how he's like, you know, he's not married and he has these kids and his ex-wife is a shit and so on and so forth. But when he was married, his bits were about how he was married and his wife was a shit and he's got these 2 kids. So there's no pleasing some people. And you know, I can really relate to that because, you know, and Elena pointed this out with Bo Burnham especially. I definitely have a kind of, how did you put it? You called it something like,
Self-indulgent misery.
yeah, self-indulgent misery. That is a great quality for a person to have. Self-indulgent misery. Yeah, that's one of my favorite things in a comedian. And I know that, you know, some comedians don't really have that. For instance, you know, Rodney Dangerfield probably didn't have that. Who else was very much not self-indulgent misery? I'm trying to think of a good example. I don't know. Doug Stanhope definitely plays his up more than anybody else, but I think that his is essentially bullshit. I think his life is okay. When he talks about whether or not he wants to have kids, he says, "I've got 2 abortions and a vasectomy on my record," and I can kind of, you know, to understand that a little bit, but. Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Yeah, Daniel Tosh probably doesn't have that. He definitely plays his part as like the guy.
Privileged and loved it.
Yeah, the guy who recognizes that he's privileged and loves the very idea.
Right. I used to be really into Daniel Tosh. Never missed a show.
He was like a. Yeah, he did Tosh.0, but before he did that, you notice how there's no. I was gonna say, you notice how there's no supermans over here? How do you think that fucking happened?
Hey, who's there? You guys have to stir it up over now.
Yeah, I don't know. Daniel Tosh does do that thing though that I was talking about, where he kind of like takes the joke 2 or 3 steps too far.
And that's like conscious, you know, that's what he does. Like taking the joke too far. It's like one of his moves, you know.
Yeah, but he
And that's like he takes it from a point of funny to like the point of ridiculous and obscene, you know.
Yeah, sometimes it's obscene, but most of the time it's to the point of ridiculous. Whether it comes to like his bit about having the daylight savings go like 5 or 6 hours. What the hell was that? Oh, it says subway station. That's weird. That is very weird. I was gonna say, I wonder if I can walk into this and have it go on. But yeah, the bit where it ends up that you take a pterodactyl home or whatever. Like, there's a lot of shit like that. That's very ridiculous. But like I was pointing out, the Doug Stanhope bit where he's talking about fucking the football player on the field and he jizzes in his asshole and he weeps. You know, he takes his dick out. It's a cyclopean eye that's weeping a single milky tear. It's crying for you. It's crying for you. That is absolutely top notch. This guy's got a rifle. I'm not sure if I should even try to kill this guy, but I don't want him to follow me around. Oh, I think Glory is coming all the way up these stairs. There she is. Surprise, motherfucker. You did not think that shit was gonna happen. I know that. You did not think that.
After you leave, I get to do a full security sweep before you can get out of here, too.
Thanks, Glory. Vanderpool's beers? Is that wise? Yeah, Glory's a sweetie. She sensed danger with her synth vision, and she walked all the fucking way back upstairs.
And the new guy patched me up, put me on his shoulder, and blasted his way through the rest of the complex. Synths everywhere.
Carrying you the...
Amazing.
Yeah,
That's one
yeah,
word. Deacon
yeah.
told me. So is any of that true?
Yeah.
Every word he said.
If you didn't have...
See? Just...
I was... But
I
it...
failed that
You
persuasion
said-
attempt.
Welcome.
What bullshit.
Glad to be aboard.
It seemed...
Guess you're the most persuasive idiot not.
Um,
What about that shit?
Have any suggestions?
No.
Why'd you look like an alien, bug-eye person?
this is the power armor that the Enclave developed after the war on the like oil rig. So this XO1 power armor, the Enclave power armor, is the most advanced power armor in the Fallout universe. Anything beyond this would involve somebody
A response
getting
would be appreciated.
getting to a point of
Call me.
Charmer, you're first, but first...
getting to a point of like
Q is one of our most tightly guarded...
being able to overdevelop technology. The Institute should have its own special power armor that's all sleek and awesome, but they don't. Gave up on Alien? No, I just do. Okay, so here's how it works, Grizzle. I just do the top donator's choice on Sunday,
This is
but we
it.
didn't do a stream on
They lack the
Sunday because I
amenities
was
of the
moving.
switchboard.
So I thought it wouldn't be fair to
We've taken
give the shaft to the top donor who had chosen Alien Isolation, so we did it on Tuesday. However, I did see earlier in the stream that somebody wanted the rundown on this build. So here's the basis, okay? I can't use my weapon items at all or my fists. Everything else is A-okay. I also can't use companions. So in that way, we ended up getting to 28 without even doing damage to anybody. Then we got all the way up to Pain Train and started using it. And then when we got to level 3 science, I was able to make the Tesla armor, which would allow me to do a slight amount of damage to whatever's near to me, which is nice when you're trying to crash into a bunch of dudes with power armor. But generally speaking, I mean, it's basically like very much utility type shit for the power armor. You know, armorer, science, medic, lone wanderer, and life giver, just for like being able to heal and have a bunch of life and take less damage. One point of the local leader is crucial, I think, especially for survival mode, no matter what kind of build it is. And then you have science 3, you know, chemist 1 for crafting of chem shit. We took 1 point into robotics expert because hacking stuff is an easy way to to disable an enemy without whatever. And then we took the 3rd point into nuclear physicist because supposedly I can eject the fusion cores, and they're crazy bananas, which is nice. I like that idea. So that's basically what's going on right now. What eventually I'd like to have is science level 4, so that I can build the like reactive plates. Actually, I think it's armorer 4 that gives me reactive plates. I don't think we could use the jetpack and do stompy stuff, and maybe I'll do that eventually. But I'd like to see the reactive plates in action, and that's not till level 39. But I also would like to take points into Ricochet. I think there's just the first 2 ranks are all we need, because having the critical meter get filled does not matter. But it would be nice to see it in action at least once. So that's the basis of the build. And of course at this point we're wearing the XO1 armor that's almost but not quite completely
An
leveled
extraordinary
up.
feat to recover this. But that's hardly the point. Without a lick of training and
Blah, 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 blah.
Tell me what you need, Doc.
one of our fielding. So headquarters. Paranoidal.
Sure. Sounds like an important...
It is. The dead, it's a common. When you make the current
This
sign-
is the mission that annihilated
You
Leon.
can trust me with
You
this.
sound rather convincing. Stop. Use the...
What difficulty? Yeah, I'm playing on survival, in case you were wondering. Pretty much every build I've played so far has been on survival, except for when we were testing
It's
the
not an
Amelia
easy
build
road,
Delia, and when we were
But you're never alone.
latest
What else?
No change.
When we were doing Donald Trump.
How'd they find switchboard, Doc?
We tarried over long. All it takes is one person being careless.
We have any leads on the next HQ?
Never you mind that.
Da, da,
Go
da,
along
da,
now.
da.
That's not even worth picking up, boss.
First of all, I'm not your boss. You're never going to come with me, and even if I could use companions, that would still be the case. You're a bummer, and I hate you. Secondly, it is worth picking up. The most important items in this game are junk items. A build where you don't use junk items would be a humongous pain in the ass. You know, no crafting of any kind. No upgrading, no updating. It would be very shitty. I would almost definitely, if I was going to do that build, I would almost definitely use the spray and pray because it's already leveled all the way up. Amelia Buildelia. Well, I didn't come up with the idea. The concept is Hebrews. But the basis of the build is that I can only pick up... I can never have anything in my inventory that isn't directly related to the dialogue in such a way that I'm allowed to touch it. You know what I mean? So... There's a lot of weird, different,
Always.
Excellent.
what's the word I'm looking for? There's a lot of weird and different, like...
Solving for theta n when I approaches probability bounds.
Yeah, rules or whatever, however you want to put it, for that build that we kind of had to work out before I even attempted it. But there's kind of a lot of shit still in the bank that we need to do before we even attempt new builds. The more I think about it, the more I think, you know, I ought to wait and do actual build videos until all of the DLC comes out. So that when the DLC comes out, anybody who wants to play Fallout 4 can be like, let's see, what really is the best sniper build? And they'll be like, well, this guy wants me to use toughness so that I don't have to wear armor. But this guy seems to know every goddamn thing about this game. So we're going to go with that. Oh, Maddie Quinn.
Working with
Good night. Good night, Maddie Quinn. Thank you for coming by. Where the hell is the exit of this joint? I always have this trouble.
It's all our asses if you are.
No bassist or noon today. They might show up a little bit later. Bassist doesn't usually show up until like 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock my time, at least. No, Isha-sama, I was just given, you know, if I didn't have, what's the word I'm looking for? If I didn't have, like, hyperbole for everything in my life, I wouldn't have anything to talk about. It's never that took 10 minutes, it's that took a million years. It's never, you know, he suggested something, it's he accosted me and tried to plow it down my throat with both feet. So, don't worry about it. I don't feel,
Can't break the code.
I don't feel as though you were too pushy. And, you know, I try my best to keep the things that I like to a minimum, but, I mean, Jesus. My discussions of The Big Lebowski on this stream have been wide and varied. Damn, what up with this load time? That ain't okay. I did do the Donald Trump build, which was junk jet only, but even on easy, it sucked real bad. I mean, the game should have there basically should be no weapon that isn't awesome on easy, but somehow the junk jet managed it. I'm honestly to the point where I believe, with all my heart, that the Syringer rifle is better than the junk jet. With all my heart. Talk about the Big Lebowski. Yeah, we had this conversation a few times on stream. I think the last one was about somebody was trying to convince me that the Walter character was a disingenuous character model, and I was like, fucking no. He's basically the selfish judge character. where anything that benefits him, it must in some way benefit all of society, and vice versa. If it benefits all of society, he had something to do with it.